better off. I don't know. Professor Hinton, should I go down center stage? You think that's better?
Yeah.
Okay, I think so too. So I'm going to come down there with y'all. Again, my name is Tasha A. Williams, actress from New York City. Been in Harlem, New York for many, many years, but originally from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Yes, honey. Some good old Southern girl. What I need everyone to do before I start, I need you to stand up and take a selfie. Stand up and take a selfie. Once you have completed that mission, you'll have a seat. Relax yourself. Okay? Let's take one selfie. That's all I need from you. Right now. And have a seat. Okay. Once you take your selfie, have a seat. Okay, so everyone's taking their selfie just about. Cool. So I'm here today to do something called Save You Time. Save you time. Because what happens as an artist, we'll go through the process of graduating from college and then thinking about, well, I can do this. I want to act. I want to pursue it. And then the next thing you know, life goes on and you go, what about acting? I always wanted to act and I never did it. So I'm here to give you little voices and nuggets of wisdom, things that I learned on my journey and learned along the way. But before I start, I want to make really clear who I am. Again, as I mentioned before, Natasha A. Williams from Fayetteville, North Carolina. I was raised actually in a mobile home in the backwoods of Fayetteville, North Carolina. So I'm actually outside of the city. We call Fayetteville going into town, where I'm from. Okay, so I'm from dirt road, very rural area. In fact, when I was a kid growing up, my mom used to tell us to go outside. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Good. My mom used to tell us to go outside and play. We didn't have video games. We didn't even have BET. I didn't even see BET or MTV or any of that until I went off to college in the 90s. So that's how rural I am. But it was a good thing, and I'll tell you why. Because I was able to use my imagination for most of the things I did. I climbed trees. Yeah, I climbed trees. I was always outside. She said, just go outside and play. And I think, play with what? But there was always something to play with. You know, nature's elements, life's elements are always around you. So you use those things. I take a branch off of a tree, and I would use that stick, and that would be my magic wand for that day, or my ruler as I was teaching class, or I was orchestrating an orchestra. You know, I had my sopranos and my instrumental. You know, I had all these things going on by using my imagination. Never knew that was something I was going to need later on in life. So that's rule number one. Always pay attention to little things that are connecting you to life's journey, okay? Because there are going to be things you're going to need along the way. After graduating from high school, K-through high school, I went on to the North Carolina School of the Arts, where I graduated from the School of the Arts as a theater major. Here's a fun fact. When I attended the North Carolina School of the Arts for my audition, I had never seen a play before. I had never read a play. The staff said, when I came into the audition, they called me something. They said, Natasha, you're the talent that we call unbridled talent. That means you have no training whatsoever, but we see in you, you have a possibility to act. So we're going to put you in the training program. We're going to give you a shot, basically. Most kids that go to conservatories come from a theater background. You're all familiar with that, right? Maybe a Baltimore School of the Arts or something like that. Well, I didn't. You know, I'm from a farm town in the middle of the backwoods. But my heart was sincere towards learning and growing and trying to figure out everything that I needed to in order to stay in this program. So God blessed me to graduate from the North Carolina School of the Arts in the Theater Arts program. And before I did that, before I actually auditioned, I was in my junior year, someone came in and taught a master's class. And she also happened to be a director. And she asked everyone in this musical theater master's class to learn a song. And she handed me a song from a Broadway show called Once on This Island. Has anybody heard of Once on This Island? Good, 11 Tony-nominated show. And she said to me, Natasha, I need you to learn this song because one day this is definitely going to be in your future. I can see you really performing on the stage in this particular show. And I said, okay. So I learned the song, auditioned with the song in the midst of the class. And she said to me, you know what, Natasha, I really like what you did with the song. And I'm going to tell you something. This next spring, we're actually going to be holding auditions in Chicago for the first national tour of Once on This Island. And if you can get to Chicago, you got the job. I know the producers and they'll love you. So I took it was a 3-day ride on a Greyhound bus from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And I could cry when I think about it. It was a long ride. It's not emotional. But I actually went and I got the job. So I left the School of the Arts and I pursued my career. I went on and did the show, and this show led me all over the world. It was a national tour, nationally and internationally, because we also went to Canada. After that show, while I was on that show, remember I said about connecting dots, things that you learn along the way. While I was on that show, on that tour, one of the castmates said, hey girl, this is how long ago it was. He said, hey girl, I made this cassette tape for you of all this Motown music. I think you'll like it. I said, my mom used to play Motown music all the time. So it was like the Supremes, baby, baby, where did our love go, right? Temptations. I was always busy listening to this music. When that show ended, true story, the very next show I auditioned for was called The Sound of Motown. And that took me to Europe. I was there for a little over 3.5 years. Little things that connect you along the way. Pay attention to those patterns in your life because they're leading you to something. After performing in Europe, I came back to the States, moved to LA with my best friend from college, and we did stand-up together in LA. And I had the pleasure of working in theaters like the Laugh Factory, the Comedy Store, places where Kevin Hart, Eddie Murphy, and all the big-name actors and stand-up comedians got their start, a lot of them. But what was unfortunate for me was I would go in to perform at the Comedy Store, and casting directors were at the Comedy Store, and they would call you in the next day and say, hey, could you read for this show? And I would be like, oh, okay, so I get the sides, I get the audition, and as I'm walking in to audition, Queen Latifah's walking out. Okay? Because Queen Latifah is actually my size in person. She's really tall. I'm 5'11". So she's a real tall girl, a little, statuesque. And I would watch her walk out, or Yo-Yo, or somebody I just finished watching, an episode of Martin, and I'd feel so awkward, and I'd feel like I know I'm not going to be able. I'm not going to compete with Queen Latifah, So it caused me to be very intimidated, so much to the point where I almost felt like I was giving up in a way, but instead, what I did is I decided to continue to do the stand-up, and as time moved on, I said, you know what, I'm kind of missing the East Coast, so I made it back to New York. And when I came back to New York, oh my goodness, I struggled. I mean, I really struggled. I was doing day job after day job, working in hotel management, on food stamps, really struggling. But something in the back of my mind always made me think, you know what about that acting stuff? I still want to do the acting stuff. I don't know how to do it. So one day, I think someone told me about a workshop that they were offering in New York. So I decided to go to this workshop at a place called 101 New York. It's still there. You may want to write this down. If you ever go to New York, highly recommend that you check this place out. 101 New York. So this particular workshop dealt with all 4 mediums: theater, television, film, and commercials. Now, when I did the workshop for theater, it was almost like Theater 101. And I thought to myself, well, this is pretty easy because when I was at the School of the Arts, we had the ability to learn about various acting programs and acting techniques. And the one that stuck to me most, you've heard of Stanislavski, method acting, that sort of a thing. The one that stuck with me most was Uta Hagen. So this paper right here that I'm showing you, you can't see real well, I actually had this copied since 1993. I make a copy of it every time I do anything. Any performance, anything. And I want to read these off to you because I want you to keep this in mind, and I want you to look for this, because this may change your life as an actor, because it did for me. This is called Uta Hagen's 6 Steps. You want to write this down. The first answer to the 6 steps would be, who am I? Question, sorry. Who am I? Second question is, what are the circumstances? Third question is, what are my relationships? What are my relationships? Number 4 is, what do I want? What do I want? The 5th question is, what is my obstacle? What is my obstacle? And the number 6 question is, what do I do to get what I want? You've seen people act before in scenes, and they come up and they'll do the lines, and you'll notice that it seems like they're just doing the lines. Well, because there's no real backstory to what they're doing. This helps you question the actual role, the character that you're playing in every scene, knowing that there should be an obstacle, because in life there's an obstacle. We just saw the obstacle we had this morning, right? Trying to get this going and everything. That's how life is, but that's what makes the scene interesting. It's the obstacle. We watch the actor feel challenged by what they see and they do. We go, oh, that's kind of interesting. So, I want you to do some research on that, because that's going to change you with every film you do, every play, every sides that you get for commercial copy. If you can answer those 6 questions, you'll be really good. You'll be above the curve, okay? So I used this in the theater workshop that I had taken. So I did really well in the theater department. In the TV sector, it was a little challenging for me, because TV is more so about hitting your mark, saying your lines. You notice on TV, everybody's moving in and out of the room. They're coming in, they're grabbing a slice of pizza, and then they're walking out. You got to hit your lines, say your lines. So it's all kind of mechanical. One of the better shows to really study TV is Friends. I know it's off the air, but they mastered it. They really mastered it. If you're watching the angles in which they're shooting that show, it's perfectly done. So Friends is something you want to go back and watch. They mastered the technique of TV. Film is more so acting in a box. You have one angle. What we're really trying to do is pick up how you think about something. Like if you see someone, you'll notice they're just acting. Their eyes tell you, oh, he might be someone she loves or someone she hates, because you're using the thought, and the camera's picking up your thoughts. But with commercials, I noticed first and foremost, all commercials, as you just saw, are only 30 seconds. That's number 1. Number 2, commercials give you an opportunity to do something called improv. How many know what improv is? Yeah? All right. Good. Improv is your ability to basically add something to the lines, which is something you can never do in theater, right? Stick to the script, right? So with improv, with commercials, it's shot very similarly to film. Did you know that? Commercials are shot very similarly to film. So a lot of the films you see, the reason why people fall in love with certain types of films is because a lot of it is improv. I worked with Zach Williams, which was the late Robin Williams' son. He told me that Mrs. Doubtfire was 96% improv by Robin Williams. Yeah. He was a genius at improvising, just right off the cuff. Whatever he was saying, whatever he was thinking, he just said it. And it worked, because it's coming from you. So in the class, it was a class of 18. Some kids had graduated from Juilliard, Tisch, some of the bigger schools in this particular workshop that I took. And I remember it was 18 of us, and I remember in the commercial class, when we would sit there before the instructor would come in, they would always complain, I hate this class. Oh my God, this is the worst one. I was like, this ain't but 30 seconds of your life. How is this so difficult? I don't know what to say. If it's just a script, I can just do the script, but it's just so difficult to, I don't know how to do that very well. I hate this class. So most people were complaining about the commercial class, and I thought, this is the easiest class in here. I don't know what the problem is. So one day, I think this is probably like the third class, the instructor had us do sides, dual sides. Dual sides means there's two people in the scene, which is what you saw in most of the commercials. So it was for AT&T, and I played the sister, and it was called I'm the Frugal One, and she's the Overspender. But we both save a lot when we join AT&T, something like that, right? So I got up and I said, well, honey, I'm the frugal one. And then the other girl said something else. And the instructor said, hold it 1 second. Natasha, stay up there. So I stayed up here, and each person came up and did the sides with me. And I was thinking, this is strange. But as every person came up to do the sides with me, I noticed that I was getting bored saying it the same way. So I started changing it around. You know, again, I have a comedy background, being from the rural South, being a good old Southern girl, I can throw all kinds of things in here to make it fun for me, right? So I got up there, and as I kept saying the word, and I'm the frugal one, I started changing character. Yeah, I'm frugal, yeah. Then I would turn it into, yes, I'm the frugal one. You know, just different voices. I would use different, then I would, yes, Shaniqua, I'm the frugal one, and, you know. So I would find various ways to say it. The instructor asked everyone to go back and have a seat. She stood up and she said, do you want to know why Natasha's really good at commercials? And I thought, I haven't booked any commercials. Why is she saying this? She said, Natasha's really good at commercials because Natasha's really good at being herself.
Yeah.
And if you can be yourself, you got it. And that changed the trajectory of my life. What you just saw on that screen was about 7 or 8 years of my career. I've been at this for more than 25 years. This was the last 7 years, because I had never thought to take a commercial class. It's not taught in any fine arts programs. It's not taught anywhere. And remember, I was struggling. Now I'm going to give you some tidbits about commercials. Some of the commercials you saw. The commercial with Tina Fey, American Express, that commercial was a 6-figure commercial. Because American Express is used all over the world, there were people who were coming up to me in Whole Foods, in New York, and everywhere, from Algeria, from Madagascar, all different parts of the world, and saying, airplane? And I'd say, yeah, because it was playing everywhere. They just put it in various different translations into different countries. So I was able to pick up more than 6 figures with that one commercial. That's 1 day of work, 30 seconds of your life. And no one had ever told me to take a commercial class. That's what I'm here to talk to you about today, okay? I want to make sure that you know, if you have a passion for theater, if you have a passion for film, if you have a passion for any of the other mediums, make sure if you decide to go into this arena of art, to always have this in the background. I can also do commercials while I'm waiting on that role on Broadway. I can also do commercials while I'm, waiting for that big role in film. I want to be the next Idris Elba or Michael B. Jordan. I can be doing commercials and making a coin, okay? So keep that in mind. First and foremost, as I said, the instructor said, Natasha's good at being herself. And that's what makes her good at commercials. So a lot of the commercials you saw, the one when I was in Publix, which is the one for when I was in the kitchen. The director said when I auditioned for that, he said to me, I want you to come into the kitchen and act as if you're making quiche. Well, I'm from the backwoods, honey. My mama didn't make quiche. No, nothing about no quiche, okay? So I went into the kitchen and I said, let me make me some flour bread and molasses. Let me see, I got me some molasses. Let me see, I got some shortening, I got some flour. Let me see, okay, I'm gonna make me some flour bread and molasses. He said, cut. What's flour bread? I said, it's something like hoe cake. You know, where I'm from, we call it flour bread and molasses. He said, okay, that's so funny. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Because that's how I would look at what we would do in the kitchen, where I'm from. You always bring yourself to it. There are times when, I'm sure there was one audition in where I had to say a line, and let's say the line is, I'm the frugal one. So I may go up and say, I'm the frugal one. Shosho amachi kudasai. And the casting director is looking, and they're all laughing. What was that? That's Japanese. That came from the clients that I used to work with at the hotel. You use everything. Mm-hmm. How many black women are going to go into that room after me or before me and say Japanese? So that's how I book the job. Mm-hmm. There are certain times when the line is there and I never say the line. Whatever the audition is, it could be for IKEA, I never say it. I look at the lines and I say, I'm not going to say these lines. This is IKEA. See what else I'm going to do in here. So I may come in to the audition and I may dance it. I may dance it and just go, IKEA. You see this all the time. Don't you see a lot of commercials with people moving and dancing? Guess what? That's because you brought that into that room. You actually gave them the idea. You could say your line, I'm the frugal one, and all of a sudden, shoot the ball because you were a good basketball shooter. And they go, wait. I like that idea. We'll make him an athlete, you see? Because you're good at basketball. That's something you're good at doing, dribbling and whatnot. So all the things that you are, if you're a good dancer, if you're a good singer, go in there and sing the line, honey. Because that's what you do innately. Bring you to it. You can't lose. As long as you're bringing yourself. Does it make sense? Okay, so we're a little pressed for time, and I want us to get up and get in the space to do this. Are we ready to do this? Is anybody ready to try some commercial copy? Yes. Yeah. Good. I love that. Again, you can't do it wrong. You can't see this one from here, but this is called Dr. Bronner's coconut oil. Okay, can you see this one real quick? Everybody can step up and see this is Dr. Bronner's. I want everybody to take a look at this one real quick. I'm going to just run it by. See that? Dr. Bronner's. Now at the bottom, the tagline says, Fair Trade with Integrity, Coconut Oil with Soul. Coconut oil with soul. Dr. Bronner's, okay? Is everybody going to participate? So the reason why I want you to take a look, I want you guys to see it too. Y'all come on down because my corns is hurting. Coconut oil with soul. Coconut, you see that? Dr. Bronner's coconut oil with soul. That's the tagline. Now, if I were to be given this in an audition, I'd go outside with my sides and I'd say, Dr. Bronner's, Fair Trade with Integrity, coconut oil with soul. With soul. With soul train. Right? Right? Because when I was a kid, that's what we saw growing up. Soul train. So I probably would have said the line that way. Dr. Bronner's, Fair Trade with Integrity, coconut oil with soul. Just like that, right? So you get booked for it, and kids are in the food line with their mom saying, Mom, where's that coconut oil with soul? It becomes a tagline. And you're making tons of money because you just brought in something that you saw growing up or heard when you were a kid. Make sense? All you're doing is making fun, having fun, being you. All right, so we ready? Yeah. Cool. You don't have to do it the same. Everything is going to be different. You're just going to find the most interesting part. Okay, so this is your tagline. Nature's most powerful superfood. Okay? Okay. So this is the tagline. Natural sweet, sort of positive, and estimated. Okay? And you're just making easy. And like I said, just have fun with it. Ayala, herbal water, zero is good. It's really simple. You'll see a lot of commercials nowadays don't even have a lot of lines. They have a lot of voiceovers. So this is the tagline. Okay. Anything else you want to say? Have fun with it, guys. This is a review. Actually, I want to give this to him because this is okay. And it's just the part at the top, Sir Kensington. And anything else? Anything else you want to add to it? Oh, yeah. Come on over. Come on over, guys. Y'all know my proponents, sir. This is the one you're going to do. Add whatever you want to it. You can't do it wrong. That's the beautiful part of doing commercials. You really can't do it wrong because what the client is looking for is what you bring to it. Do you see the tagline, sweetheart? There's a lot of stuff there.
Oh.
Yep, right here. So that's the name of the product, Dr. Bronner's. Sal Suds. Yep, that's it. You can't do it wrong because at the end